Becoming a DJ wasn't so much a thing back then. Now it's like it's a clear route to doing something. A lot of people do want to be a DJ now. There's lots of reasons for it. Some people kind of think, well, I'm going to be like a DJ and be famous. And it's the be famous bit, actually, it's the motivator. Some people aren't, some people are. It could be girls, guys, trans, whoever. You know what I mean? It's not just prettygirl.com, but there is an element of that as well. But that's kind of changed it. But hey, if people take the time to prep for it, fair dues, you know what I mean? So you have my respect for that. Hi, I'm Grace, DJ Grace Sands, formerly Diggs in the partnership Diggs and Woosh, and one of the founders of DIY Soundsystem. I mean, I'm from Manchester, so I was in kind of the indie scene, Smith, stuff like that. Early David Bowie stuff I had on cassette off a partner gave me. It was really, I didn't really get into like the David Bowie, the Low series till later on. It was going out dancing is the main thing that really got me like enthusiastic about seeking out music. I discovered Hacienda in 1986. I never looked back, basically. So, funnily enough, that was this summer. We had a really good summer at the Hack. Then went to Nottingham, where fortuitously Graham Park played at the Garage. So I could have really gone to Nottingham or London to find a good house scene. So I went to study physics. Still got the physics degree. I did use it. I was a physics teacher for 8 years. It's an expensive city down here. So I did what I had to. I enjoyed it actually, but DJing and teaching, you're up there and up there, so you're basically up there. So I went to Nottingham in 86. Yeah, I think what's interesting, the story has obviously Harry's book, which is actually knocking about, it's in the bedroom. If you want to get it, it's on Velocity Press. I was trying to think, it's called, he's going to kill me now, I can't think what it is actually called. Dreaming in Yellow, thank you. I could see the cover, Harry. But he talks about it very well there. But I say, basically, we're a group of friends. So 86 to 89, I was studying. So was Harry, Simon, we met through a friend Aubrey, who worked in a vegan cafe, which is just opposite Brown's on Goosegate there. So it was summer of 89, we were going to festivals. There was like rave sound systems at the festivals kind of thing. And then we all lived, or various of us lived in Magdala Road. So you just go in parallel to Woodbury Road. Nice big rooms, huge, like we're talking 3 times the length of this and wider. So we started thinking, well, we'll do house parties ourselves. So really the embryonic DIY crew was like anyone, a group of friends putting on parties. So it was very naive and fun and young, and ecstasy was just become affordable. Yeah, it was 25 quid. 25 quid was quite a lot in 1987. Then it went down, I think, to £20, made it suddenly a bit more accessible, which might seem a bit silly. But so it really came from us throwing parties. Simon got some decks in the summer of 89, so I used to hang around at his and then practice, and when he used to go out, so I learned to mix on his decks. So it was just, I think, people have asked me this before, becoming a DJ wasn't so much a thing back then. Now it's like it's a clear route to doing something, or whatever your end game view to have fun or become somebody through it, or whatever it may be. But back then it wasn't really that role, or didn't exist in the same way it does now. So yeah, it was just a group of friends having fun.
Have you got a favourite memory from those days?
Numerous. I think in Harry's front room, which was on Albert Grove, where the lad Aubrey I mentioned with the girl Tanya, another kid Jonathan. Some good sessions round there in the summer of 89. Dave and Geordie's, I lived round there, the Magdala Road. I think, yeah, it's probably that summer, various front rooms, varied, good times. Kind of just like when you didn't really have a care in the world. I mean, hey, you don't have that many cares in the world now, but Back then, you generally really didn't have that many. We were all into like what you call post-punk, so No Means No, Butthole Surfers, all the On Your Sound stuff. So we'd sit around in front room listening to that kind of thing. So we're into what you might as well call druggy music, basically. Anyway, we're all into that. I guess hip-hop was what I bought my sort of speciality.
I'm intrigued as well about the connection with Ibiza. I know you still go out there quite a bit, and like, I know Jose Padilla had a bit of a link with DIY in Nottingham.
Yeah, I mean I'll try again. I don't know where the first invite. We went to play at Amnesia, back in '90. Actually, it was a kid called Johnny from Sheffield, whose mum and dad had always. He's always. I think they lived in Ibiza, to be honest, but he was in Sheffield, so he took Simon and Harry, Pete and I had to decide San Francisco or Ibiza. So we chose San Francisco that year, and Harry and Simon went to Ibiza. So they did that, the groundwork of things. Then we got the invite to Amnesia. Then I think we met Jose that first time. We all got along. He's a really charming man, lovely guy. Him and Simon particularly, Bonnie gave Simon some mad flamenco trousers. Simon did actually wear. So, and we met Sally and Stephen Man Cordero on that trip or the one after. So basically through Jose, we played Amnesia, Pasha, then it was Pasha Space Terrace. So in the Space Terrace heyday, we were there, dropping it deep. And then we loved it. It was before it got all that party, you know, Peasy and Blocko, fair play, party boys, but it kind of changed the music really. So, and then it went to Eden, which is like a smaller place. So we had, I think, 7 or 8 years, and we used to just get villa flights and a villa, so all our pals could come. Jose, bless, was the link. And Pete and I did Cafe Del Mar 4 times, and we were one of only 5 people who could do it, apparently. So there you go. My dad was a dancer like me, so he had like some disco stuff. He wasn't like a big digger, but he had like 7 inches really of more like the quality commercial disco. So that stuff I used to listen to his records at home. Then I kind of started buying like Everything But the Girl, their first album. It's the only one of theirs I like actually, but I loved that around that time. Like I say, I had a lot of stuff on cassette, like David Bowie, things like Bauhaus, that kind of stuff. So when I really started buying records and 12s anyway, was at Spinning in Manchester. I was working at Manchester Airport in the bar, and funny enough, one of the lads there, I went in, back in the days when they used to play the records, he was getting them played to me. I had to stand and watch, but there you go, I learned there. So then I was buying, like, the Cold Chilling came through just a little bit after that, but like JVC4, Strong Island, Big Daddy Kane is the #1. Sorry, Rakim. Rakim's got the bars, but Big Daddy's got the flow. That's my take on that debate anyway. So, and then I'd started to buy like New York House and Authority on New Groove, Adonis, No Way Back. So that's the first time I started shopping for 12 was at Spinning. I was cold lamping with the Home Self last night, i.e. in Blazing. So it's good to do sometimes, isn't it really? So last night I listened to Slow Tide, the new one. I think he was a bit misogynistic on one of the tracks. I have to re-listen, but it's good, interesting album. They're saying it'd be lazy to call it his alt rock album, but it's going down that road. He was a bit rude to Catherine Ryan, but she forgave him, so we should move on too, I think. Then I listened to Tame Impala, the first one. Brilliant Psych. I've seen them like live now. They kind of diluted it as the time went on, so then I listened to that. I bridged across with Hardcore Jollies, Funkadelic, which is kind of a link between the Psych, that kind of guitar head music, and the groove. Then I listened to Walter Gibbons, really good double CD, jungle music. It's got them all on there. I can't think which one's on that though, but Sun, obviously, my favourite. I love that. People don't like the edit, but it's great. And then I didn't get this far, actually. Takeisha Strikes Back, really good Japanese, kind of deep house really, but like atmospheric as well. So that's kind of stuff that I listen to when I'm chilling. So this is Can. Soundtrack. Someone actually turned me on to this on Facebook, Kid Chris King. I've got Eggy Bam Yassi and stuff on CD over there. So this kind of, I love, if you give it time, the actual groove on this is brilliant, really driving. It's not really got the funk, and people might say you lost it hippie, but I mean, it's a 17-minute record or something. So I play this at Marshmallow. So that's kind of what I personally am trying to bring to the Marshmallow table. Chris is very good at playing quality popular tracks. Rosie's more disco, well-researched stuff. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. We're doing a boat party for the Core's birthday. So this, let's give it a minute. And I think, yeah, I do a nice mix of this for a little trick and a treat. And also, let's have a look. Right, how long am I supposed to play it for?
How many records you got, do you reckon?
Well, Pete and I, when we used to live together on Premier Road with Harry and Barbara, someone came round, we had 30,000 we calculated, and maybe that was a bad, it was like an estimate, so we sort of measured it. So that would mean we had 15,000 each, but then we weren't too sure. There was a little squirrel nutkin quietly nibbling on the records. We're not too sure, but they seem to thin down a bit. So now, Pete and I, we shared the house collection. Interestingly enough, Chemistry and Storm did the same thing. So did Luke and Justin Unabomber. Because if there's two of you and you're playing together, it kind of makes sense. Okay, we'll have the shared, rather than buying two of everything, because you don't get paid double. So we shared that. Now, Pete sold some, but I've got the remaining coming down, so there'll be some more over there. So right now, I don't know. Truth be told, I think it's about 5,000. It's hard to say. Pete probably don't like that question because he just sold a lot. Hi, Pete. That's Pete's. I have a quick pan there. That's my little memory of Pete there. That's the kind of thing he dug. I got it from his flat. And then that's my heels that I rocked at the down low there. So that's kind of like Digs and Woosh, the end of the room. So Cerrone's Paradise, another wicked track. This is 16 minutes. It's got loads of attractive women by the sound of things saying how they want to go with Cerrone at the start, whether he made them say it or they actually were his harem, we'll never know. But I love this track. So Cerrone's Paradise. This is what I want to play. There's a guy called Colin, he's got a house with a shed, and it's called The Shed, and it's got a disco in it. I've not had the chance yet to open by playing this one there, but it'll be perfect to play in there. Like, it's an after, basically. But at the right, it would have to be for the right time. So yeah, this is Cerrone's Harem. Let's give it a minute.
Okay, girls, nice and nice. I got my low cut dress on too.
I bought this dress especially for Cerrone, honey.
Cerrone, oh man, he is fantastic. God, when I see him, I could do to that guy.
What you gonna do?
This lady at the door. Can you help us?
Hi. I ain't gonna help any of you, honey. He's mine. Cerrone is mine. You can come and watch him, but hands off.
Okay, all right.
Oh,
See who's gonna get there first.
Me. No, you're not.
Yeah, I'm ready.
You may be ready, but
Listen, I can show him a few things.
I don't think you could show him anything.
So this is a new one. I've got a Phonica.
I don't want to show you.
Interesting label, actually. I can't work out the label. Ritmo Astral. I can't actually see. I think it's Ritmo Astral is the label. I'll just click this really interesting stuff. This has got like a good vocal, unusual vocal. So it's kind of, you know, a fusion, world fusion style, but very modern. Again, this is a Marshmallow choice.
Necesito más.
You know what I mean? Vibing. Really interesting label, actually, this one. The sound of 91 is back. So this is the one that really opened my ears to it. Massim, if I can say it right. They call it Massi in Berlin. But Massimiliano Pagliara. So Midsummer's Dream. Perfect for outside. And this is 91. So 91's come back. I'm old enough to be there the first time. Pete and I just were sort of DJing a bit. But we started off playing our disco, hip hop, funk, jazz. We weren't really playing house, but we were collecting it, but we weren't buying it in, week out. But this is really good. It's like rolling, synthy, quite druggy, obviously. And this one I played actually DIY with the films coming out. Free Party Folk History by Aaron Trinder Films. It's mainly about DIY and Spiral Tribe. It's a good film, so watch it when it comes out. And we've been having lots of film showings and parties afterwards. I don't know which side it is, I think it's this side. So this is a bit, a bit more accessible. But Pez thought it was what he'd missed from back then. So they know how to do that old sound, this sound. It's fun. you know, it's party music, but there's nothing wrong with playing party music.
Whilst you're digging, Grace, have you got any? Have you got like a particular song that comes to mind when you think of something that you enjoy playing out?
The most successful one is the Moxie edits with Cardi B money in it. Everyone, wherever you go, loves it. I mean, I stopped playing it. I'm going to brag about it. I broke it, certainly to some extent, because everyone's asked me about it. So I've now stopped playing, but then I do still have it in the skirt pocket. It's brilliant though, because it's a really wicked boom thing with loads of breakdowns in it. Last time I done it in the summer, it's for everyone. I played it at Nottingham Carnival, so that is like a fun one to get a reaction with. You know, everyone's going to like. Let's stick with that for a minute. Okay, so this was the first one, True Vanity. Where I sampled T.S. Madison, who was on the Beyonce album. She's not called, fortunately. But it was kind of, I put the voice right up. She's like very, very angry. She's calling out Caitlyn for being a Republican, basically. It's really good, strong acid house, like a queer acid house track, but no one wanted to distribute it really because maybe it was too queer. I'm not saying they were being like, you know, homophobic or anything like that, or transphobic, but so I didn't sell that many. However, it's available on my Bandcamp, Superstar DJ Grace at Bandcamp.
What's the name of the record?
It's True Vanity, this one. You can just about see it there, True Vanity.
Yeah.
And it's called the Telt, Party Telt EP. So that's the first one. Now, in a sort of slightly, I don't like using the B word for things that you like make, but I've got a party called Sand of Time. I think I'm going to call the record label Sand of Time. It kind of ties in. So that's the only True Vanity release. I think True Vanity will become an artist, me, True Vanity. So Sand of Time is record label. It's going to be mainly my stuff. I've got, it's funny enough, I was listening to this record last night. It's sample, I better not say what sample it is, just in case. Anyway, so yeah, I've got, it's got a bit of Supermodel by RuPaul in it. So I'm kind of making, it's going to be mainly my stuff. Some deep house, some more like party queer stuff. But yeah, that's going to be vinyl, hopefully. So watch out for Sounds of Time. And I've got my mixtape called Taste the Grains, dedicated to the memory of Pete Woosh, my longtime DJ partner, coming soon. Promoting, I do on my party the Sounds of Time at the Lion and Lamb, which is like a quality rave pub with a wicked sound system, just sort of 15, 20 minutes over there. We're on the second one. But yeah, it's kind of developing a relationship with the venue and obviously Instagram posting. I partner with my friend Toby, so working that out. I mean, I quite like flyers and giving flyers out and stuff like that, but it's not really much point. I did a party where I invited everyone by post, and no one got it at all. Like about 20 people came. I was like, love, that costs money. That means you've got to come. So yeah, it's just things, it's technology, I guess, has changed around it. A friend Damo from Stroud, but he used to live in California, knows Gideon, who runs Block 9 with Steve. So he proposed me and Pete Diggs and Woosh play at the down low. So we missed the first one, but we were there for the second one onwards, so we always used to play. So one year Pete didn't come and he was just starting to get ill. So I was playing in the down low that year, and Shay, the promoter of Adonis, was there. Apparently said I was the best DJ had heard all weekend. Somebody tell me that. Shay, you can correct me if I'm wrong. So he said, come and be the Adonis resident. Then, quite hilariously, we had a meeting about it, and I said, oh, if you offer me the residency, I will decline to play at certain other places as a demonstration of commitment. And then I saw 2 Instagram posts, and I wasn't on the lineup for the next week, so I cornered him. I think it was Lip Synced 1000 at the Glory, and downstairs packed a massive spliff and said, look, am I a resident or not? And I am. So here we are, and I'm lucky. It's like the best queer party in London, not just saying that. It's got the great best mix. It was predominantly gay men at the start, but it's gradually changed. You know, trans, thems, everyone, allies, you know, and it's really good music, really good crowd, without sort of being too up itself as well. It's got the dark room, you know, it's kind of, you know, down to earth. So yeah, it was just a really through the down low. Let's have a quick honourable mention to Faith. And this, now I'm not sure which of the brothers, it's Reggie Burrell from New Groove, obviously. Either side, I think I played a flip because it's this one. I mean, makes you sick how he probably just went in and just did it in a day. Really musical, brilliant production, you know, classic stuff, so well done. Terry and crew. On a sound system, Yeah, let's distort it, get a bit carried away. Calm yourself, dear, calm yourself. Yeah, so this is brilliant. Double pack of like garage inspired stuff. It was on Deep Trouble. It wasn't too much, I think it might have been tenner. But there's basically 8 tracks, I played 2 off there. You can probably play all 8 of them. One of them I noticed is a copy of a record that came out at the time. So obviously someone's going in the studio, pumping them out, but fair play because it's popping. So this is good, like, coming up to peak time here. And that other label, K4B label as well, this would fit with this kind of thing. You know, everyone digs this, everyone digs it. Find it. But the kid, he was Italian, so Enrico Mantini. I did recognise the name, but the kid was Italian, so this is a guy, a local. Now I need to get the right side. This, classic deep house. You know what I mean? I think he was, I'll have to check the date on it, but that was, oh yeah, what is that record you should have charged me £100 for? Oh. I think a bass Nautic one. He said, 100 quid I'll give you for 70. I said, look, I think I've got it at home somewhere. £100, I'd rather spend £100 on a 90s deep house 12, you know, like, come on them. So this is really nice, EP, Enrico Mantini. Can't see a date on that, it doesn't look old. And I guess just a quick, what is handy now, people, there's this label here. A lot of people now are doing really good compilations of old tracks. So keep an eye out for this one. What is it? Respectiva. Really good, like, Italian compilation. So it's quite handy. And then, for example, this one, which is nice and right, they put 4 classics on one, so you're going to probably play 2, so it's nice to get a clean copy. So you got this classic 90s garage vibe, lovely pads, chords, whatever you call them. Right, let's, I think.
What's that DIY on there?
Which this one here, Simon, I was just thinking I should put this on. So put on this, so this is Simon, who worked with Damien, and this was the mobile studio downstairs at the Square Centre for Nottingham residents. It's now flat as a pancake. Bit weird now, because obviously, for those who lived there, the Square Centre was where the DIY studio was, and we used to blaze in there. In fact, we got kicked out because we did carry on smoking in there, but we had this office, the studio, Emma and me, Harry, Pete, Simon, Jack. So, and now the building's not there, so it's a bit weird to go back. So this was made then, so the one I play most, the one that is the, I was playing at Gay Spacho, it's the only Spanish record I could find, this one, Simon's. Good one, good moody Simon classic, wiggly bum to it. And then that's the only Spanish one I found. So I was going to play this last week, they didn't want Spanish music in the end anyway. So this is really nice, classic Simon, kind of moody but not dark. Well, he's the Dark Knight, obviously. So that's a lovely one. Give it a minute. So it's a bit hot in here. Lovely record, classic Simon. And then I actually play this one mostly. Everyone loves this one. It's a bit more bouncy. Good, really interesting. I think it's the How and Little sample that bring it back from New Groove. But I play this a lot. Adonis, it's a perfect fit. And it's a really tight bass line. Really good, classic Simon. So that's actually, so just to explain, me and the DIY crew, we first had Strictly for Groovers. So if you look on Discogs, it was Strictly for Groovers first, and then it became DIY Discs, as we were called, DIY, to kind of simplify things a bit. Diggs and Woosh, obviously our biggest track was Rump Funk, The Undisputed Truth sample. That was a record bought on a trip to San Francisco. So I thought, I guess I'll just bring it up to date with 2 or 3 more. So Leo Paul, he actually does a live thing, this is his label. Classic summer afternoon deep house, dancing in the sun. Yeah, Leo on Eel 06. 01 is also good. He's a really talented guy. He goes through to techno, to house. He's live, just does live. I was going to advance it a little bit. This bit. Sun on your face, under the stars, so that it's now sun's out. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. That just came out a couple of weeks ago.
Those kind of parties, Grace. You know,
yeah.
You've not done a lot of free parties recently.
Yeah, I mean, of course, they were brilliant. The grumpy ones like Harris, it'll never happen again, but they do happen. They happen in over there, like in Hackney Wick, throughout lockdown they were going on actually, but before then, it's up to you if you want to party in lockdown, it's your choice. But before then, in the woods there, in fact, they shut the woods down because there was too many there. So they do happen, especially coming out a lot. Yeah, a lot of Essex kids do them. So they're not quite the same, but the same spirit. Yeah, of course, they were absolutely brilliant. You kept, I think there was the Beltane party that Baseline Circus did, which I couldn't make, but that... The problem now is finding the place. You have to go clandestine, and Smoke is probably most recently tried to, I think, did that, and they're on the news and whatever, but it's getting a place. You either have to pay someone to let you do it, or steam in. It's trickier now than it used to be, not so much because of the criminal justice bill and what have you, but back then you could get away with it more than now, so I'm still keen to do something. Just in, out, 24 hours. Because once you start making it to weekend, the logistics are super complicated. It's like you would in a mini festival, and that's like a job. But when you go in and out, so watch this space, but don't hold your breath. I used to shop at Juno, had friends who worked there, but then James left, so, and I thought, I want to go to the counter and get a relationship, so the lads, so Simon's in the back room, he comes out occasionally, gives a wave. Luther and Nick take care of business for me, so it's good to go to a record. It's fun anyway, because you meet people and all the rest of it, and like you can, now it's fun, isn't it? You can kind of go with a list, or you can go and see what they've got, or go with a list and see what they've got as well, so, you know. So I listen to a lot. You know, records are expensive now, so you have to be mindful of that. All records are expensive. So, yeah, I'm obviously listening to stuff in the shop, so I might pull some stuff out that I haven't listened to on the website, or vice versa. So obviously the sound of the 90s has been back for a long time. So there's been a lot of stuff coming out. So I guess for me, having been around long enough to have the stuff for the 90s first time that me and Pete bought, it's handy because I can draw on those, and there's new ones as well. Yeah, so I guess it's both. And also I've got to keep it fresh. You can't keep playing the same old records all the time. You've got to keep it fresh for yourself. So even that's a new old one. You know, there you go. There's 8 tracks on it. So yeah, I guess whenever I'm travelling, like I say, Sound Metaphors in Berlin, always worth a look. Really good second-hand bits in there, disco as well, and like 8, 9, 10 euros for a clean copy. On the like, oh, just quickly this disco, you know, interesting disco album, 7 euros. You know what I mean, that kind of thing. In Tbilisi, if you go to, well, I can't think what it's called. It's the trendy bit. It's a beautiful, like, Scandinavian sort of arcade. You'd find it when you go. I can't think of the name of it now. There's a record shop in there, a really good record shop in there. So whenever I go, I always feast on those because it's these, they're not necessarily cut price, but you can find records for 8, 9, 10 euros or pounds that are good instead of paying 17, 18 for a new one. So it's a good cost-effective way of getting good stuff as well. So yeah, I guess it's so, yeah.
Have you got any particular like favourite spots or favourite memories of digging? Because obviously you've been around the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I mentioned both before, when Pete and I first went, you know, in San Francisco, well, the dark, horrible side of it is that there were gay men, and obviously some women as well, but people passing from AIDS. So their partner would obviously be, you know, heartbroken and wanted to get rid of the records. So the records would be in community thrift. So it was fairly obvious you'd come across the collection. Now, you know, I should have pulled one out, but it's quite sweet because they've stamped their name on it. So I'm going to search up some of these DJs because you've got some of their collection. So that was grim, but there was a way of records being available, for better or worse. I mean, they were there, so obviously we bought them. So we then got spoiled because you come back to England, you could get anything for 25 cents in these thrift stores. Then you came back and we could get, you know, Roy Ayers albums or Curtis Mayfield albums for $6, $7, $8. You come back to England, everything's 12 quid. This is even in the 90s. So, but the best time we ever had, we went to Montreal, and then it was quite funny. I think Jonathan Moore was there, Richard Gray, James Lavelle, and it was quite a funny thing. They were reading the flyer and going, oh, they spelled my name wrong. I thought, what are they on about this? And they showed the flyer, who was at the top? Diggs and Woosh. Come on, crew. Because obviously in the UK, I mean, they're in the charts, all the rest of it, so that we were the top. It was a funny moment. And we found this Aladdin's cave there, which was unbelievable, this guy's front room. But then Pete and I, together, I miss Pete most when we're digging, when I'm digging. Because we used to be like, this was a gymnasium, right? The peak of it all, there was a gymnasium full of records. So Pete be on that side, I'll be on this side. You're going through that many, you'd pull 2 to 5 albums out. So obviously you put one out, and then he's putting out that one. And you just goad each other on, even by talk, you know, not saying anything. Think, oh, he's got 5, and then you'd be going through, sometimes you get 1. And we were there all fucking day, and we went back the next day. It was so that is the one that sticks in my mind. That trip to Montreal, we couldn't stop ourselves. We feasted. So Pete, I miss you, love. I just want to play one track from the mixtape. So the mixtape's coming out. It's dedicated to Pete, who sadly left us in October of 20. So it's taken me a while. I was writing the music at the time. These things take time. So it's coming out with Exist to Resist, which is the book over there, Parties and Protests. It's in the crowdfunder. So if you crowdfunded and chose the one with me on it, you'll get it. And then I'm going to put it on YouTube and maybe sell it. I'm not too sure. That's a sneak preview of one track, which I've not decided both track is going to be on Taste the Grains mixtape. This is Grace Sands. I'm here with the Plates crew. Thanks for coming. Grace's yard. See you soon.